Now, on to another important issue, and one that has really taken the public by storm. Over 150,000 people have signed up to the Homes for Ukraine scheme, offering their homes to Ukrainian refugees fleeing war and persecution from the Russian state. Well, one of those people who signed up to that scheme is a Conservative MP. Duncan Baker has been generous enough to take in a family of refugees, and I'm delighted to say he can join me now. Welcome to the programme, Duncan. First of all, how did you come to the decision that you would be taking in a Ukrainian family?
Well, hi, Tom. It wasn't that difficult, really. When the crisis first broke, my wife and I sat down and we just simply felt that we had to contribute and do whatever we could. My house is a little bit busier than it was 48 hours ago, so hence I'm now holed up in my bedroom because the downstairs is pretty busy now. But we just felt that we could do something. We don't have a big house, but we have a spare bedroom and we have bunk beds in one of our children's room. And we felt that a mother and a small child between sort of a toddler and maybe 12 would be able to accommodate nicely with our family unit. And we set about doing that. And it was a discussion that we had with all of our family, with our children as well, because, you know, clearly Daddy doesn't see an awful lot of children because I'm an MP. But we all felt this was the right thing to do. And I'm so glad we have. It's been an incredible and emotional last 48 hours.
Really remarkable that the scheme allows for such specific requests, if you like, if that's the right word, that you were able to specify the number of people that you would like to take in, even the age range of the people that you'd like to take in. Was it a smooth process to arrive at this point?
Well, you have to do the work yourself, and I think that's the important thing. So we were able to find a family that just so happened to fit with what we were able to offer, Tom. You know, I've got two little girls. We didn't really feel we had the space, for instance, to have a couple of teenagers and a mother come and live with us. So when we started asking through a friend of a friend of a friend, and it's that kind of organic process which led us to find Anna and Svietik, who are now living with us, it just so came back that, yes, a family was found who was trying to get out. And Svietik, who's the little 6-year-old who's on the screen now, he can't speak a word of English. His mum can speak some English, which was very, very lucky for us. But we didn't know what would happen. We didn't know who we would get. And it was, you know, very, very harrowing, those first few Zoom calls, to try and say that, you know, we were here, we wanted to help, and that we could give a safe haven to you. And over the course of a week or so, we bonded. We had calls every night. It was very important that my wife was part of these conversations because, and I wanted that Anna's husband to be part of those conversations as well. He is a Ukrainian called Vitaly who can't speak any English. But I didn't want people to think, well, who's this crazy Englishman wanting to offer his home for people? So it's been a real family effort. And of course, when I'm not here, it'll be my wife that has to do the lion's share of helping and orchestrating, making sure the family are all comfortable. But so far, it's been wonderful. And the children, I mean, Tom, language is no barrier. They're running around the house, they're running around the garden, they speaking in their own languages, no idea what each other is saying to each other, but there is no barrier there. They're just playing and they're happy. And the most important thing is that they're safe.
It's incredibly heartwarming to see that tweet where you published that photo of one of your children and the Ukrainian refugee child that you brought in. Really a moving story there. Those watching on television can see it on their screens now. I suppose just finally in this conversation, Duncan Baker, this is a family of a mother and a child. The father, I presume, is staying behind in Ukraine. What kind of feeling does that generate in the house?
Look, it's very difficult. There's no doubt about it. The story that, I mean, I could tell you is probably no different to many others. Anna and her son were separated for 2 months because the little boy was with his grandparents in Melitopol when the Russians invaded. They were separated. As we know, Mariupol, which is a couple of hours down the road, has been flattened virtually. They hadn't seen him for 2 months, and Vitaly and Anna it was Italy who went on his own, managed to get the little boy out. They got through the Russian forces without being caught, got back to outside Kiev. They had to then move from outside Kiev because that was bombed as well. Then take an enormous journey to get over the border. They missed their flight. There was 10 buses in a line. This is at night being checked to get over the border. So, there are some very difficult and moving tales that everybody is experiencing at the moment. But the most important thing is they got out. There'll be hundreds of thousands of families feeling the same thing. But it can be done, and I'm just one person trying to do my little bit. And I have to say that North Norfolk is at its finest. The amount of support and care. My office yesterday, I turned up, an enormous box of toys were left for this little boy. I mean, it's amazing what people are doing.
It's fantastic to see that sort of community support coming together, and potentially, hopefully, this conversation might have inspired some other people who maybe have a bit of a spare space in their house. Maybe their house is a bit quieter than it used to be. It's a very, very good scheme to get involved with. But Duncan Baker, Conservative MP for North Norfolk, thank you for joining us here on The Briefing this morning. Now, the government is expecting